All right, this is SSL Family Dad with Simple Sustainable Living, and today we're going to show you how we're tapping our maple trees to make syrup. This is our first year out here, you know, in the new property. We've got a lot of maple trees out here. There's some in the backyard, and there's a whole stand of maple trees out in the forest that I'm not even going to get to this year. But I wanted to get into tapping these trees, and so just getting started this year, I've got a few new supplies and a few different ways to get into this that I've come up with where I'm not going to be breaking the bank. If you really start looking into maple syrup supplies, you can spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars getting started just to tap 10 trees. I wanted to do that for a little less. I don't want to upfront all that money this year. So I did buy these taps. These are stainless steel taps. I bought these on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description as always to anything that I get on Amazon. And I'm also using some sustainable materials. So I'm going to be using any type of jug. I've got milk jugs here, vinegar containers, and other things like that you can use to collect your sap. And I'll also show you some off-the-shelf stuff that I bought as well, and I'll be kind of comparing the use of everything here. So let's get to tapping these trees, and I'll talk a little bit about how to tap, where to tap, and when to tap, and what to tap. So all of the questions hopefully will be answered, so stick around. All right, so we're out here in the backyard. I've got a few silver maples just right around the backyard. I think there's 5 or 6 of them. They're all silver maples. Now, what can you tap? So there are definitely different kinds of maple trees. You can tap any kind of maple tree that you have. Sugar maples are obviously the best. They have the highest sugar content in the sap, and all that means is that you're gonna have to collect less sap to make more syrup, right? Silver maples have a lower sugar content in the sap, so we've got to collect a lot more sap to make just as much syrup. That's okay, you tap whatever you have. There's also other kinds of trees that you can tap. You can tap black walnuts, you can tap, I think it's box elders, you can tap birch, you can tap, and a few others. I'll put a list of the trees that are tappable and that you can make syrup from. Now they're all gonna taste a little different than your maple syrup, but you can still make a syrup from them. So I've got these taps here. Now these take a 5/16 drill bit, and so that's the drill bit I have here. And I've also marked this with a piece of tape at about 2 1/4 inches. So between 2 and 2.5 inches is how deep you want to make your hole. And you want to kind of make it at a little bit of an upward angle. You don't want it too far down because your tap's going to fall out if you put any weight on it, if you're hanging a bucket or something. Just at a little bit of an angle downward. These particular taps I liked because they do come with a hook that you can use. And it also has this little ridge on the end of the tap here that you can hang buckets from or whatever on your hook here, and then this will run right into your bucket. So you can use this with like stainless steel buckets and other type of containers. It also, these are nice because they fit on a 3/8 hose. So 3/8 ID water hose. This is drinking water safe hose tubing, and these will fit right on there. So you don't even need the hook in this case. You can plug right in and do that. This stuff is cheap. It's 38 cents a foot, and I got this at Ace Hardware, and so you can get this stuff anywhere, and you don't need that much of it. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and get this tap put in. I'll put the hook on it, even though I'm not going to use it, just in case I decide to change something here in the next few weeks. But I'll go ahead and put this in, and then we'll get our container set up and start collecting some sap. Just another quick thing that I forgot to mention, where to tap the tree. The south side of the tree, from what I've read, is the best place to tap your trees, and I've confirmed that with the other ones that I've already tapped. But what I really found makes the biggest difference is where you tap it in regards to roots and branches. So this tree, I can tell there's a really large root that goes down out of this side of the tree. So this isn't directly south, but it's on the south side of the tree. And so I'm going to tap directly above this root. So I want to get right here. The idea is that when the sap starts running, it kind of when the weather warms up, the sap's gonna come out of the roots, it's going up to the branches and what will eventually be leaves in the springtime. And so you wanna catch the kind of main trunk lines of that sap where it's running. I've already confirmed on other trees that I've done that makes a huge difference. If you can't see the roots on the bottom of the tree, look up for branches. You got a really large branch system, you wanna go right below that, because again, that's gonna be a conduit for that sap. You can already see that sap just pouring out of there. So I'm gonna get this pounded in. Use a wood block here and a rubber mallet. I'm gonna go ahead and hook up my tubing here. Okay, and right here down at the base of the tree somewhere, I've just got a piece of rope, just some poly rope or nylon rope, and we'll run that through the jug. Now this is a vinegar container. I just put a little bit of bleach and water in it and rinsed it all out. And I drilled a hole right here, 3/8 hose or tubing. If it's 3/8 ID, it's about 1/2 inch OD, and so I just drilled I just grabbed the drill bit that was just smaller than 1/2 inch, and I drilled it right here. I don't like drilling through the caps on these jugs, so I ended up just using the shoulder of it right here. This works a little bit better. Now I did lose a little bit of, height, I guess, for sap collection, but I'm gonna empty these, every day or two, or whenever they get full. So this is plenty to, about 3/4 of a gallon here, so that should be fine. I already got sap flowing out here. It's actually flowing pretty good today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this stuck in the hole, kind of see where my height is, and then I'll tie my rope off here. I left a little bit of extra rope so that I can reuse these each year. I may have it on a different tree that's a little bit bigger, so try to cut these a little large and tie an easy to undo knot here. And that's that. So we are now collecting sap. I don't know how long it'll take to fill this up. It just depends on the weather over the next few days. But it's flowing pretty good. So these are aluminum buckets and lids and a different kind of spline or tap. These taps were, I think, $5 a piece. They require a little bigger hole. So it's a 7/16 hole, so almost 1/2 inch size hole there. And these are just a little bit different. Then basically the hooks, the bucket hangs from the hook and the sap just drips in there, and then the lid mounts right through to the tap itself and just keeps dirt and debris out, but obviously not ants. So this is a good way to go, but again, if you think about it, these are 20 bucks, these buckets, aluminum. These were $5. These were $5. So you've got $30 in just for one tap, one tree, and that's pretty steep. You can go plastic buckets and plastic lids and plastic, well, I think they only have these stainless taps. But if you want plastic lids and plastic buckets, you save yourself probably about half. You might be at $15 a tap. But I am not gonna buy plastic stuff. So if I'm gonna invest money in doing this each year, then I'm not gonna buy plastic. Plastic breaks, it gets brittle, it's, throughout the year you're storing it, this and that, things happen. You're out here in the cold, working around the trees and stuff, plastic degrades over time. The sun will degrade it. As long as I don't lose these or run them over, I can't see why these won't last me, forever, or my lifetime, or whatever. So unless I get a huge windstorm and they blow away, which that would suck. But anyway, so I every year I'll probably buy a few of these aluminum ones and use sustainable type containers for the rest of the trees as I add on to each year and get production higher and higher. So another thing to remember too is you don't have to have these stainless steel taps. I mean, you don't have to buy this. If you want to save money, you can use all kinds of other things for taps. You can use pieces of copper pipe, you can use plastic tubing. I mean, shoot, you could you could just take this tubing and drill a half-inch or a half-inch hole or a little smaller and just stick the tubing right in there. You don't have to use these real expensive taps. I'm purchasing these because I'm looking at longevity. You know, I want to be able to expand and reuse these and get into a real operation where I have everything I need each year. And so I decided to go with something like this. But so when is the best time to tap your trees? That's the question. And the best answer is it really depends. It depends on your climate. It depends on the temperatures where you're at. So basically what you're looking for is weather patterns where you have warm days up in the 40s at least, or even the 50s, and then dropping down close to freezing or freezing. That's going to give you the best sap flow. So you want to be a little bit below freezing at night and then, you know, above that during the day. We've got some weather coming up here over the next week or two that's going to be just perfect for the sap. Right now it's not running as much these first couple days, but I want to get all these taps in because it takes a little time to do that, and then we'll be ready to go once it starts flowing. I'll have everything set up and I can just start collecting. So it really depends. It could be as early as January, you know, where you're out tapping trees. It could be as late as March. But I would say for most people, probably somewhere in the February to March time frame is when you're going to be tapping trees. Another thing to note too is, you know, if you want to do a collection like this, you got larger trees, you can just use one jug, drill 2 holes in it, and then just tap multiple times and then run the tubes into that one jug. 5-gallon buckets work great, or something like that you can put down. Then you can collect a lot more sap without having to come out here, you know, twice a day. When it's really running, I've already seen one of our other trees that we got 1 gallon, you know, in a day, less than a day. So, you know, you could be out here collecting quite a bit. So that's what we're going to be doing this year for tapping the maple trees. I'm probably only going to get about 10 trees tapped, you know, that's just the way it is. I have a lot more to tap on our property. I haven't counted them, but yeah, there's probably maybe between 30 and 50 maple trees of various kinds. Between silver, I've got some sugar maples, I've got red maples and other types as well. And so I've got some birch trees and stuff around too. I may even try next year tapping some of those and keeping it separate and doing like a just kind of a neat little test on, you know, what the different tastes are and stuff like that. So, but hopefully for those of you guys looking at doing, you know, syrup this year, next year, or whenever you see this video, it helps you out, just kind of get an idea. I'm by no means a veteran sap collector or anything like that, but, you know, just what I've been doing here and the research that I've done, this seems to be a good way to go. If you go with the taps and the sustainable kind of materials that I used, the little tubes and stuff like that, it'll probably only cost me about, I don't know, I'm going to say about $6, maybe $5 per tree. And so I could potentially tap, you know, 30 trees and it not be out of the question. So that's a good way to go for sure. But if you guys have questions or comments, please throw them down below. Hit thumbs up, guys. I always appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along. I will do a video on, you know, processing the sap and making syrup. This will be my first full season doing that. And so, you know, if you want to see how that turns out, go ahead and subscribe and follow along. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.